Hello YouTube and welcome back to Psychology Everyday. Today we're celebrating 6 months actually on the day from the 13th of March to today the 13th of September. We're also at 4,000 subscribers, which is just amazing. I am so grateful and so happy that so many of you choose to subscribe, watch, listen, like and comment. It really makes my day. And yeah, thank you. Thank you. Today, we have a lot to talk about, and then after that, I'm actually going to celebrate 6 months and 4,000 subscribers by buying a cigar and buying a new jacket. I like this jacket. I think it looks good and it's comfortable, but I also want to get some sort of classy coat or jacket and try it on. I'm just going to go over all of the things that we're going to talk about, and it's basically grind season, working out, renovating the orange zone. I gave up sports psychology and dating to focus on other things. Value learning, technology, public speaking, side quest learning, and an announcement of something, a project that I'm doing for you, and of course moving and switching university. And then at the end, I'm going to answer a viewer question that I got a few days back. And on these sort of life update or on Talking Thursdays, I will answer all of the questions that I've gotten in the comments instead of answering them in the comments. So any question you might have in the future will be answered in a video. And in the future Patreon users, I don't have a Patreon yet, will of course get put in the first of the line, because we're talking about some advanced stuff, and there is certainly a limit to how many questions I can answer a day or a week. But I do, of course, read all of your comments. But if you do have sort of a difficult question or a complex one, that's going to require some time. So, yeah, grind season. In the university course that we're doing right now, because we're doing sort of clinical psychology, we have to learn about the sort of laws of secrecy and bureaucracy, and how the rules work within sort of governmental structure and stuff like that. I'm gonna be completely honest, I hate it. It's so boring. I feel like I'm dying in the classes. And the thing is that I've read law on 3 separate occasions before, and I think the first time I thought it was sort of interesting, but that was of course in boot camp when I became I don't know what it's called, but a guard basically. And you learned about the right to defend yourself and when you're allowed to do this and that and whatever. And then I became a guard in the custody, häkte, prison guard, basically. And then we had to learn pretty much the exact same things again. And then I worked as a security guard for Securitas, and then we had to learn all of that stuff again. And we are now learning about the same thing again in the fire department because of the ongoing sort of deadly violence epidemic in certain cities. So, the good part, of course, is that learning about secrecy is at least not learning about the right to defend yourself and stuff like that again, but it's not fun. Man, if you've been spending a summer doing sort of Jungian psychology, analyzing dreams and symbolism, and questioning the validity and truth of words, and then you just get punched in the mouth with the right to free speech and whatever. Um, Another problem that I have with it, a personal problem that I've brought upon myself, of course, is that um, YouTube content is of course, the easiest thing for me to do is to use whatever it is that I'm currently learning in the university courses as content for this channel. But I'm not gonna talk about the laws of secrecy with you, because that is not applicable at all to psychology. In my opinion, I didn't do a morals and ethics video because that was a small part of the course, but beyond that, it has just been technicalities, and it makes me so frustrated because it means that I have to sort of do double work, right? And yeah, whatever. Soon we're doing clinical psychology, and luckily I have such horrible ADD that I learn about all kinds of things on the side anyway. So it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We've been training a lot, been going harder in the gym than I have for the last sort of year or previous 2 years. And my body has been so sore. And you know it's sore when you sort of, whenever you get up or you sit down, you're going like, and but it's been a lot of fun. I've been doing bodybuilding and of course weight west walks, and it's been like a week or two since I did the ball training. um, you know, I might just have to pick it up again next summer if there is not a day where I am both home and there is beautiful weather. It is now the fall in Sweden and most other places, and everything is just wet all the time, which includes the balls. So I might just have to bring them inside, and then I'll probably not bring them outside again. I'm renovating. I started doing the staircase today, and I'm gonna start doing this area. Of course, I'm selling my house, so I'm doing. I talked to the realtor and asked sort of what's some good things to do that will increase the value and being able to sell the house more easily, which doesn't cost more than it sort of provides. And I have a list, and it's gonna cost me about $500, and they said it would do 5,000 plus on the valuation of the house, and it's about 40 hours of work. Of course, while studying for a law exam on Monday, that is just, I have so much discipline. I've done so many hard things in my life. But this is so difficult. It's so hard to actually sit down and study it. But I am sure that I will pass the exam at least, and especially since I have sort of 2 days now where I can just use the procrastination panic, which I hate, but I have also sort of ramped up the studying of the material, and it's gonna be fine. But yeah, it's a lot to combine, especially with YouTube. That is why I decided to give up these sports psychology courses, because they um, overlapped so much with the law courses that it just wasn't any fun. And after looking through the material of the sports psychology course, I realized that I already know all of this stuff. And do I really just want to get that on paper? Does it matter, or should I spend my time on something more valuable. If you haven't watched the video from yesterday on quantifying your time and value, I highly suggest you do it. Even by making the video, it just completely changed my priorities so much, and that is why I decided to give up on the sports psychology and on dating. Dude, if you're trying to sort of make something happen in your life, if you're trying to sort of reach a goal or carry out a mission or an objective, then dating, especially if you're kind of in something or in the beginning of something, this will just take up so much time and energy and focus that it's insane. Because, and I've talked about this in various other videos with the sort of hypertrophy atrophy model. I hope you can't hear that dog. Maybe a little bit. If you want to get out of the hamster wheel, you have to run so fast that it breaks, basically. Which means that you have to do so much more or do everything so much faster that you create a surplus. And yeah, you gotta make room and time in order to be able to do this, or you will not stand a single chance. So I gave up on dating. I believe in God and the Holy Spirit, and the universe will maybe at some point put a woman in my way that will love me for the things that I love to do, and she will be irresistible, and the relationship will be easy to start. So I refuse to put in sort of any force or action into that part of my life, because I have so many important things that I want to get done. I'm moving, I am switching university, and I'm committing more and more to YouTube, starting to spend quite a bit of money on technology and stuff like that. But also I've realized that I really love doing podcasts. I did one the other day that came out Thursday with Malin Bergström, formerly known as Kleinsmith, and I had a great time. The thing is, and by the way, I did another podcast 2 days ago with Todd Hutchings, Todd Silla, which comes out on Thursday. And I love doing podcasts. It is just that in order for me to have any chance of doing YouTube properly and not sort of completely destroy myself with stress and stuff like that, I have to batch some videos and make some videos in advance, so that I don't have to, like with the Derek Smith video, I actually had to stay up basically all night to edit and stuff like that, because editing the podcasts is so much more work than normal videos. This video, since I have at least gotten good enough to sort of talk and talk and talk, I just turn it on, talk, turn it off, and then upload it. No editing. Editing a podcast like the one with Todd Silla that is coming out on Thursday, when things run smoothly, it's like 6 hours of work. When things don't run smoothly, it's more like twice that. Every interruption, if someone, if I get a call during recording, it will pause the recording and then bring it up again. And then to cut that out, just moving everything in Shotcut adds an hour per interruption. So yeah. Instead of sports psychology, I decided that I want to do value learning. And what that means for me is learning more about technology. I used to be really good at technology, but it advances and changes, and at some point I was just like, if it's going to keep just getting changed all the time, then what's the point of learning it? But now I more and more want to learn about technology, at least in the podcast sense. I also want to learn about public speaking, and this is a very important sort of shadow function for me. One of my worst phobias, I do believe, is sort of going up on a stand-up stage. And I thought about this so much, and I thought that I should do it just to challenge that shadow. But then I realized that you don't actually have to do something that you don't want to do and that you fear. But you do have to do the things that you fear and that you want to do. And maybe the first one as well, but whatever. Public speaking is something that I actually want to do, but I am afraid of it. So I'm going to challenge that fear and get really good at it. Besides that, we are, of course, have side quest learning that I do all the time, which is for fun, but also for you guys. So I'm buying Art of War in order to go through it and analyze it, dissect it, but also the book Propaganda that I already have, which is, I'm going to talk about it on Wednesday, I think. I'm also, by the way, learning tarot cards, which brings me into my announcement, and that is that I have made a questionnaire that is a base for personality analysis. You know how I did the sort of symbolic analysis with the animals and stuff like that, Jungian psychology? Well, I have expanded it, and I'm gonna sort of test it out like 5 or 10 times, and then in the future, when I do start up a Patreon, I will offer sort of deep personality analysis, and I think it's going to be a great and wonderful time, and I'm really excited about it. This is because, of course, when I am moving, which I am next summer, from Svanskog to Kungsbacka, I will not be working at the fire department anymore, because I do work as a part-time fireman. However, in Kungsbacka there is only full-time, and I don't have the sort of correct license or whatever to work as a full-time fireman. That is actually a 2-year sort of education program, and that is absolutely not something that I'm going to do. So I'm going to have to make money, extra money, some other way. Now, I don't have to do that. I could, of course, live on the student grant, but I want to do that because the student grant is too low. I'm also, besides the personality analysis, going to offer fitness coaching as well as the value coaching that I just talked about, that was in the video yesterday. And this way, I will feel good about Patreon, because I don't want to be a leech, but of course I do want to create a community, but I want to really be able to give something back to that community. And for me, working hard to help people for a price that is so much less than my time is really worth, and I'm not saying that by egocentric values or whatever, but rather from the calculations that I did in yesterday's video. Feels a lot better. Yeah. Because then for, whatever, $20 a month, I could help someone with their fitness. Yeah, you can definitely hear that dog. I'm gonna move inside. I'm doing it because I'm gonna want to answer this viewer question about religion and psychology without my sort of neighbor's dog interrupting me each second. So the question that I got was about the connections between religion and psychology. And this person asked, about the connections, but also sort of about the cross that I wear and why I present it so clearly. I think that was the gist of the question. I've always thought this looks ridiculous, but we're doing it. I do wear a cross because I am happy to represent Christianity in this day and age where different ideologies fight over the souls of people. I am very happy to be a Christian because there is a lot of bad ideologies these days that really does try to corrupt people, and Christianity will forever be one of the pillars that will try and combat these actual evil influences. On the sort of correlation and similarities between religion and psychology, there are absolutely tons and tons and tons. Jung, which is, my favorite psychologist, studied every single religion intensely to sort of identify the wisdom and the patterns of the psyche by learning everything about these religions. And there are so many things in psychology that are much, much better and deeper explained in religion. If you can just get over the hiccups of the things in religion that is not based on the core, so every religion has bad things added to them that is not the word of God, but the word of false gurus, humans, which are contextual and just erroneous, terrible. But if you do look at the core of any religion and try to take with you the positive things or the helpful things, or just try to understand it, you will understand just how potent this would be in psychology. And also, what fascinated Jung and what fascinates me intensely is that the same sort of religious pattern has emerged in many different places, and you can either see this as magic or you can see this as a natural sort of pattern and frequency in the world, or you can understand that it is a recurring pattern and set of ideas in every single human. Why is it that everyone, I'm going to do the example again. Some people say that, every religion is different. Why is just one correct? Blah, blah, blah. Why is it that every religion, I'm going to do this again because I want to cut this into a short. Okay, bear with me. Some people complain about the fact that there are so many religions, and they say that how can only one be correct? Ask yourself instead the question, why have people all over the world in different cultures and different times come up with the same idea that there is a god or gods? And if you just remove the names, why are they all so similar? Why have everyone come up with the same idea? Well, you tell me. I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for 4,000 subscribers. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.